All right, the next chapter is chapter 11. And we're not covering it. I know you like that answer? What chapter 11 is, they go into classes a little more, which we're going to do, but we're not going to do it in this chapter. And they go into this huge multi-class application. And chapter 12 does as well. And I'm sorry, I'm not going to make you type 20 different classes and make them all work together. It's just way beyond what we need to learn. So, but in chapter 11, that's what they do. They make bear and fish. They make all this stuff, and you actually make a little GUI. Let me show you the picture, if I get it to load. You make a little, come on, show me it. And you make a world. You make little bears and fish, and they move around, and when you click on them, they do stuff. But the problem is, it is tons of code, and you'd literally be inserting code from now till after Thanksgiving. There's so much of it. And we're not going to do that. Okay? Yes?
Does this feed into the chapter 13 stuff about video game programming?
Well, actually, we're going to get there. But we're going to do chapter 12 first. Okay? Chapter 12 covers a little bit more about classes and inheritance. And then we're going to get into the video game. That's what we're going to cover next time. We're going to start covering that. We're going to do a very small, basic video game. Okay. It's just that I got to looking at this, and I'm like, yeah, we can walk through all this, but why just cut and paste it all? That's too much stuff. Okay? And if you're noticing all this code here, we would literally be cutting and pasting forever, and anybody can cut and paste. Okay? So I'd like to do, I mean, it just goes on and on and on. So we're not going to cover chapter 11. We are going to do chapter 12, but not what's in the book on chapter 12. I'll show you why. So what I want to do is cover chapter 12 a little bit like we're going to do today, and there's going to be an assignment based on it. Then we're going to do a little bit of chapter 13, and there's going to be, so you're going to have two more assignments, one on 12 and one on 13. Okay. On 12, they talk about inheritance, which is actually a very important topic. And I initially was going to walk through the assignment in the book. But the way he has it, it will not function unless you make a bunch of changes to it. So we're going to just do a different one that I kind of put together what we're doing, okay? Because what he does here is he'll show you a UML diagram. This is what's called the UML diagram. It's basically it's a shape. You can have an ellipse or a circle, a polygon, or a rectangle. They basically inherit from each other. So a rectangle inherits from a polygon, which inherits from a shape, so on and so forth. Okay, you're going to be doing an assignment along these lines. But I didn't bring that file up here. Let me pause this for a second and get the file. Hold on. All right, I got the file up here now. You'll understand what inheritance is. It's like my children inherit from me. My grandchildren, which I don't have, if I ever get any, would inherit from their parents, which would be my kids, and so on and so forth. Well, you can do the same thing with programming, okay? So rather than walk through the one in the book, which again, he does the same thing here, he does this example here. He does a geometric object, and then he has lines and points and canvases and shapes, and it's a ton more code. So we're going to walk through an example that I kind of put together, okay? Because you'll see he has it all here, but it's a lot of cut and pasting. I guess sneeze. I'd rather not just do that. I want to actually walk through building one, okay? So what I did was I put this together. I want in class today, wow, that's huge. Okay, let me zoom out a little here. I want to do this. Okay, I want to make a basic program that has a vehicle. Then we have a car, truck, and motorcycle, which are all types of vehicles. Then you are going to be doing an assignment similar to this. So as long as you understand the concepts of this, you should be able to do the assignment. Okay, so that's what we're going to do in class today. And what I did is I made a UML, which is a Universal Markup Language. I made a diagram showing what we're going to be doing. Okay. For instance, we're going to have a vehicle class, which is going to, have See, the way you read this is, car is the type of vehicle. Do y'all agree with that? And truck is the type of vehicle. Motorcycle is the type of vehicle. So anything that's inside a vehicle could really pertain to all of them. So down here under vehicle, I said we have registration number. So could registration number pertain to car, truck, and motorcycle? Yes. How about owner name? I spelled it wrong. Owner, O-W, owner name. Owner name. How about color? Yeah. And a couple methods that we could use, maybe transfer ownership. Man, I keep spelling owner wrong. Or get paint job. What? Yeah, exactly. All right. Then now car, I realize some things. So number of doors, could it pertain to truck? It could. But could it pertain to motorcycle? Actually, it kind of could. Because if you had a sidecar, you probably have a door. But we're going to assume it doesn't. So, number of doors. How about a sunroof? Really would pertain to a car. Probably not a motorcycle. Could be to a truck, but not as much. Mileage. Because aren't cars a lot of times rated based on mileage? You don't, I mean, trucks are, but not as much. But car, we consider a couple methods. Now on trucks, number of axles. Because you can see trucks with 2, 3, and so on axles. Normally a car just has 2 axles. Whereas the truck might have more. Now I could have put number of axles up in vehicle, but I just wanted it for the sake of the exercise to be down here. Then is it a work truck, yes or no? What's the cargo capacity? A lot of times you see that for trucks. It's a 110 truck or a 2-ton or a 3/4 ton or whatever. When I was in the military, that's the rating they put on my license was the size of the truck I could drive. It did not say Ken could drive XYZ model make of truck. It just says 1 ton. Okay? So capacity. Then is it a work truck? Okay? The motorcycle, does it have a sidecar? Is it off-road bike or on-road? You know, there is a difference between off-road bikes and on-road bikes. Okay? And now motorcycles are rated in cc's. Okay? You don't buy, I mean, you really buy like a 650 Yamaha. I mean, yeah, they have model as well, but you know, I had a 650 Veers. So what I want to do is I want to create this right now in class. Anybody think we can do it?
Sure.
We're going to do it. Yes, we can, but we're going to do it. We're going to walk through doing it. First thing we can do is we're going to define what a vehicle is. I know we haven't done this yet, so I'm going to walk you through doing it, okay? Okay, I got to make sure I'm in the right file. Okay. I've already done this, but we're going to walk through anyway. So I'm going to create a new file. So if you want to walk right along with me, it'd be perfect. Create a new text document. I'm going to call it, I'll just call it class demo. Now the file name in Python doesn't really matter as much as it does in Java and C and all them. So we're just going to call it class demo. That's fine. Now when this comes up, I'm going to try to make it so we can see it all on the screen at the same time. Alright. So, does anyone remember how to define a class? Anybody? How did we define one? Come on, someone has to know that much at least. What does it start with? Start with what? No, that's a method. How do we define a class? Come on, how do we find a class? Class. Maybe? Class? The word class. Very good. Class. Okay? Yeah, it was a trick question. Okay. So if it's the vehicle class, let's call it vehicle. That's it. We've defined a class. We haven't done anything yet. And this is the same stuff we did Wednesday in class. When we did that, I don't know, whatever we were doing in class Wednesday. I can't think offhand. Now, vehicles can have a couple things. Yes, Mitchell?
How responsible are we for that sun example that's in the last part of the chapter? You said we should probably look at it.
No, you're not going to be responsible for anything in that chapter. Okay. Looking over it, there's a lot of stuff he does, which is, I just don't want to sit here and cut and paste all day long. I'm sorry, you're not going to get anything out of it. That's one drawback of this book. See, I have people who complain that books don't have enough examples. Then I have people complain books have too many examples. I think this book has too many, because he goes an entire chapter on all these examples. Okay, but that's just cutting and pasting. It would be better to understand the concepts of how to do it rather than just copy and paste out of a book. But no, you're not going to be responsible for any of the particular examples. I will tell you the week after Thanksgiving what will be on your test, though. So you'll know exactly what you will be responsible for. Okay? All right, so we have a class vehicle. Now we have some variables that pertain to it. I tabbed in, and I'm going to type registration number. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and give it a value. Okay. It's always a good idea to do that. Let me explain why. Who's calling on? Someone from Elk City. I don't know who that is. Okay. So registration number is equal to 0. What that did for me was created a new variable called registration number, assigning the value 0 to it. The reason that's kind of important you do is sometimes, actually C and C++ are terrible for this. When you create a variable, it assigns it a location in memory. It doesn't always wipe out what's in the location in memory. Kind of imagine buying a house, okay, that someone's lived in before. You think there's a possibility you could find stuff in the drawers? I think it could be done. I've actually heard of people doing that. They bought a house and found stuff in the drawers before. In other words, the drawers weren't cleared out ahead of time. Same thing here. This way, we're forcing it to, whenever you're making your spot in memory to hold a registration number, whatever is in that location is being replaced with the number 0. It's just a good thing to do. Okay? Java does it automatically. Not all languages do. Okay? Now we want owner name. Can't spell. Owner name. Owner name's nothing. Then color. And another thing, other than just zeroing out the location, it's also telling it what type of variable it is. So registration number is what? What type of variable? What? It's an integer. It's a number. It's some. How about owner name? It's going to be a string. Someone's saying it, but they're talking very quietly. Okay. See, I got this wonderful vent right over my ear. Very hard to hear. Now, we're not done yet, but I always like to compile my program every now and then, so I'm going to hit F5. There's something wrong with it. So what's wrong with it? Anyone know? I needed a colon. Exactly. Okay. So I needed a colon. Now let's run it again. It didn't do a darn thing. Right, I haven't told it to do anything yet. Okay? So at this point, is it doing what I'm telling it to do? Yes, it's doing exactly what I'm telling it to do. I was, where was I yesterday? I was somewhere yesterday, and the lady was complaining about computers. Computers are always screwing up. I said, well, actually, they do exactly what you tell them to do. They don't do anything but what you tell them to do, which is kind of funny. Now, could I go ahead and do something now with my program? I mean, I have a class defined. Could I? How could I create an instance of this vehicle? Anybody got any ideas? What did you say equals what? I didn't hear the first part. Like a variable. Oh. Or well, let's do it this way. We'll do V1. Yeah, that'll work. Will that work? That worked. So that says vehicle 1 is equal to a new vehicle. Now, I could actually utilize the variables. I could say VEH1.color. Could I do that? So that's creating a new vehicle. Vehicle 1, which is equal to a vehicle. Then the color is now blue. Okay? Still didn't do nothing. How come? They want to know why? What? I mean, it's doing exactly what I said, but I'm not telling it to print it or do anything. How can I print out to see if it's actually working? Actually, let's just print vehicles, see what we get. What do you think I'm going to get? Should get a location in memory. Because remember, vehicle right here, vehicle is equal to a new instance of the vehicle class, and that's actually stored at this location in memory. Okay? Now, what if I want to print out the color of the vehicle? How can I do that? The color. See, now we should get the color of the vehicle. It's blue. Now up here, I did not initialize it a color, but since I called down here, I was able to print it out. Now what if I want to print out the owner's name? Could I do that? What am I going to get? I have owner's name in there. It's just blank. Now let's just make sure it's actually working. I'm just going to put some dashes in it to make sure it's working. Sure enough, it is working. Is everybody with me so far? You know what we're doing? So what we did, based on this diagram so far, we created this vehicle class and we gave it a couple variables. Okay? Now let's get some methods as well. We need a transfer ownership and a get a paint job method. So how do I do that? How do I create a method? Anybody? Define, exactly. Now don't do what I do and type the word define. It don't work. It's just def. Define transfer ownership. Owner name. I cannot spell owner. I want to change mine a little bit here. I'm making it so it's a little different. So I'm saying transfer ownership is a method. It's going to receive in owner name. Then in owner name is equal to owner's name. Does that work? Sure, I can do that. Now when I go to run it, what's going to happen? We get an error. What's wrong with my error? What am I missing? Missing a colon yet again. Darn the bad luck. Alright. So now it still runs. Now, what if I was to modify this UML, Universal Markup Language document, and put a minus in front of owner name? Does anyone know what that would mean? Someone should know what that means.
Negative owner name.
Negative, yeah, but what does the negative mean? I owe you money? What'd you say? Okay, whenever, see, depending on the language, normally when you see a minus sign, that means it's a private variable. So what did we learn last time where I could make owner name private? A what? Underscore. This thing is killing me here. It's loud today. So put an underscore. How many?
2.
I think it's 2, isn't it? Okay. So now I did that. Let's see if it actually works. Now it should give me an error. It did. Very nice. Okay. Now, I did that and it killed my program. It's telling me on line 13 I got an error. Line 13 is which one? Can I view line numbers in here somehow?
You have your underscore.
Okay.
Right there, under.
Yeah, right here. So if you look at this one, it's telling me line 13, vehicle object has no attribute owner name. So I'm going to put a couple underscores here. No, I'm not. Underscores. Okay, now let's try it. Still doesn't work. Where'd my mouse go too? I lost my mouse. Okay, so how do I fix it? It still says there's no attribute owner name. Anyone know how or why or how I can fix it?
You don't have to. You're in your own. Oh, okay, never mind. Let's see. Why do you have a capital?
Anybody got an idea how I can fix this? Well, what does the underscores do? Yes, Mitchell.
Do you have to run a transfer of ownership somehow when you get it to notice?
That's right. I have to somehow get the name in there. I can no longer access the name directly. Remember, private, you can no longer access it directly. So, if we want to set the name, we need to do something like I need to spell transfer first correctly.
Trash.
This is now going to be Ken's car or vehicle.
So we don't have to
Now let's see if it runs. What? Oh. Wait a minute. Why didn't it? Hold on. It takes one positional argument, but two were given. Any ideas how I can fix this?
You have to.
Something we got to do.
You gotta add.
Take out the Ken. No, I want Ken in there.
If they're in the find transfer ownership, you have to add something in there.
I got to add something in there. What do I add?
You gotta add the.
Something we learned last time.
Self.
Self. Very good.
Yeah.
That was Sam I Am. All right, let's see if that helps.
Go, Sam.
Oh, fixed it. Good job, Sam. Remember, we had to add self because it's actually saying we call transfer ownership based on this object passing at this argument, so we need a self in here. Very nice. That was pretty quick, too. All right. Now, how can I view what the owner's name is now? Anybody? I want a print statement right down here at the bottom that will print out what the owner's name is. Anyone know how I can do that? What? Gives you an error. Then you obviously didn't type something right. Yes, Mitchell.
Mine comes back as none.
Well, you shouldn't be able to print it out yet. We didn't tell it to print the name yet. Because really, this print statement's doing what? It's doing something. It shouldn't be a print statement. So really, it shouldn't be printed at all. Now I want a print statement to print it out. But what is that print statement going to say? How am I going to print out what the name is? Anybody? Come on, someone's got to know. Give me an idea, maybe. First person to get it wrong wins.
Alright,
let me answer it.
Vehicle 1.owner name. I got it wrong. I win.
All right, let's print out vehicle 1.0. Oh, man. Can I not spell owner correctly? Jeez. Have I spelled it right yet? All right. So we're back to here. Cameron won for getting the wrong answer. How do I fix that? Come on, someone help me print out the owner's name. Come on, I know one of you is thinking it.
There's Ken.
Print Ken. No, I'm not printing Ken.
That's the owner.
All right. Remember we talked about accessor and mutator methods? What is transfer ownership? Is that an accessor or a mutator? It's a mutator. It's changing it. So I need an accessor to access it. So we need to create another method. So let's create another method up here. Did it again. Did y'all notice that? Yeah, got it right that time. Typed it very slowly. Now I can call show owner name. Will that do it?
No.
Still something wrong with it.
Self.
Ah, very good. Let's see what happens if I don't put self in there. It's going to say, okay, it takes 0 arguments, but 1 was given. Okay, what the heck does that mean? Because I'm not giving it any arguments. Do y'all agree there's no arguments there? Let's argue about it. No, there's no arguments. But it says takes 0 positional arguments, but 1 was given. I didn't give it any. So why does it tell me I gave it 1? Because when calling an object in a class, it actually passes the instance name as self. Hence the needing self in there. So now when I run it, it should print owner name is not defined. Did I spell it wrong? Show owner name. Show owner name. Where's, okay, it's on line 10. What's wrong with this? Return OWNERNAME. I spelled it right, didn't I? So what's going on? All right, let me pause this for a second. All right, we found out what the problem was. It's just, it kills me. Okay. What was wrong was you need to reference the variable. You need to say self, basically. Okay, so before I could return it, I had to include self, as in the self was the instance we're calling, so we're turning back the instance's owner name. Okay, so my call was correct. It's just I was missing self. That error was not very explanatory, but it does work now. So now I'm going to print out my owner name. Did we give it the owner name? Yeah, let's see if it actually prints anything. Why aren't we getting the output now? No, this should still give me my name. I want to print out real quick in here. I want to see what we get here. We're not getting, see, it's not, see, the name shouldn't matter. Okay, we'll make them so they match, so there's no issues. Shouldn't have to do that, though. Okay. Yeah, they shouldn't matter.
So you got rid of the and and put the underscore instead.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to matter, though. So why isn't this working out? Oh, we're having a hard time today. It's killing me. I keep forgetting the darn self. How many times have I forgot that now? So I'm going to put this back the way this was. Since you guys, I mean, you don't have to change yours. I like having different variable names. Because sometimes when people see the same name, they think it's the same when it isn't.
Explain to me what that self is again.
All right. So let's look at this line here. Okay. This is vehicle 1 transfer ownership, and we're passing it the argument Ken. Okay. Now on transfer ownership, I actually have 2 arguments. I have self, which they talked about in chapter 10. Self has to be called because it's an instance of the class object, because we're calling it based on vehicle 1. So self is actually vehicle 1. Okay, so even though I'm only passing it 1 variable, the Ken's going in owner name, vehicle 1 is self. So in owner name, now here I say self dot owner name. So in other words, vehicle 1's owner name is equal to the one I just received. I keep forgetting that. You don't do this in all language. It's very similar to this in Java. If you've seen this, I keep forgetting. I'm sorry, my fault. So in here, when I said inside, as long as I print self.owner name, it worked fine, and I can also return self.owner name. Okay, we don't need that anymore. Let's make sure. So it should print out the name Ken. This should print out Ken, and it did. Okay, so far so good. We're doing good. All right. Now I did not, based on this argument, this UML, originally I didn't have the minus sign, so I could have done it without it, but we already did it, so I'm just going to leave it that way. Now the next part, we need to get into the inheritance part of it. Okay. Actually, we need to put in the paint job, don't we? Let's define paint job real quick. Define get paint job. All right, two errors. What are they? Where do I need self? At the top, up here?
No, in color.
Okay, so right here it needs self. Spelled correctly. What's my other error? Colon. What's my third error? Self.color. Very nice. Caught all those. All right, and it should work fine now, and it does. Very nice. Okay, so we got a paint job. Now, I want to print out the color. So let's get a paint job. I want to print out the color before I set blue. Then I want to print the color again. I'm going to print out, I'm going to say, prior to paint job. This is going to be after paint job.
Paint job. Paint job. Prior to paint job, huh?
If you guys haven't noticed,
Spelling
out of all the degrees down in my office, not one of them has English listed on it. Just saying. So now it should print out. Actually, let's put. I'm gonna put default color up here so we can see it. This is gonna be default name, so we know they're changing. So it should print out default color, and then it should print out blue. Let's see if it does. Prior to paint job, default color. After paint job, blue. Nice. All right. So everybody following along? Kind of getting it to work? Now, the next part is car. Car inherits, you can see it from this picture, car inherits from vehicle. Okay? So all the parts of the vehicle are inherited by car. So how do we do that? Does anyone have a clue how to do that? I don't think we've covered this part yet. All right, now we're going to go over here. We're going to define car. But here's where it's going to be different. So I could do that and it should still compile. Well, I need to put something in there. What's the variable that goes with the car? Anybody? Number of doors. And if you ever get an, actually, let me show you this error first. If you do that and you go to compile it and you get an error about expected indent block, what it's saying is this line should be indented. Well, it doesn't need to be indented. It's just the fact that I declared a class and didn't give it any content. Now if I say number of doors equals 0, now it'll be fine. Okay. Okay. So what I did was I defined a car object or a car class, and I gave it number of doors. Everybody with me so far? There's a problem. Okay? I did not, so the way this is right now, car and vehicle are equal. Neither one's inheriting from the other. The way you make car inherit from vehicle is actually very simple in Python. You just put the class name in here. What this says is car inherits from vehicle. Okay? Everybody with me? What don't you have there, Mitchell?
The one thing you can't see what you're doing in program.
I didn't change anything.
You had a default name.
Oh, I just had default name, that's all. I had default name and default color just so we could see they were changing. It's the only reason I did that. I wanted to do it so when I printed out the color, I could see that it changed. It's the only reason I did that for. So now we have a car object or a car class which inherits from vehicle. Okay? So far so good? Now I want to look at something here.
You can have classes based on classes.
Sure. That's called inheritance. What I'm doing is I'm saying that car is inheriting everything from vehicle. And I'm going to show you how that works here real quick. Now down here, I'm going to say car 1 equals car. Okay? Now, what variables are defined inside of car? Actually, I'm going to change this to, what's the default number of doors on a car? 4 or 2? What do you think?
Depends on if you want a sporty car, too.
We have good cars, 4-door.
Whoa.
Wait a minute. Yeah.
So could I print out car 1 dot number of doors? Could I do that, you think? And what should I get? I should get a 4. So when I run this, I should get a 4, and I did. Now here's the part that gets a little tricky. What is the color of my car? What's the color of the car? Anybody? Default color or no color at all? Well, let's run this and see what we get. So it prints out default color. How the heck did that work? Because here's my car class. My car class does not include color whatsoever. Do y'all agree with that? So somehow when I referenced car1.color, I got this guy up here. The reason is, inheritance means all the methods and variables from vehicle are available in car. Okay? So when I called car1.color, it looked at itself and it says, okay, am I redefining color inside of car? No. So I used the one up inside of vehicle. Everybody see that? So when I referenced vehicle, what is car 1's color, what it did, it went up to the car class and said, okay, is color defined here? The answer is no. But it's defined up at the vehicle level, and since car inherits from vehicle, it also inherits color. Okay? Think of it like my son. My son's last name matches my name. That's the default setting for a kid. But could he change it?
Sure.
Yes, he could. But if he changes his last name, will that change my last name? No, it'll just change his.
You just won't get in.
Yeah, so as long as he doesn't screw with the last name, it stays the same. But if he changes it, it'll change on him, but not me. Yes, Mitchell.
Well, in the main body of the program, maybe you assign it to a specific thing, which is blue. Or whatever.
Yeah, good point. Mitchell said that in the main body of my program, I assigned it to blue. But I did that for vehicle 1. Vehicle 1 is an instance of a vehicle. Okay? I could have vehicle 1, vehicle 2, vehicle 50. I didn't assign it to the vehicle object. I assigned it to the instance of the vehicle object. Okay? So watch this here. So if I was to go over here, If I said car1.color equals red, then I want to print out the color, and I also want to print out vehicle1.color. What should these last two lines print?
Red and blue.
First one should be red, second one should be blue. It did. It printed red and blue. The reason is, I told it right here, car 1's color is now red. So when I printed out car 1's color, I get red. But when I say print out vehicle 1's color, vehicle 1 was defined up here. Vehicle 1 and car 1 are two different things. What if I make another car? Let's make another car. I want to have two cars. Car 2 equals car. So I'm going to change this to print out car 2's color. Okay? So at the bottom, I define the car 1 and car 2. Now I'm saying car 1's color is red, so this should print red. What would print for car 2's color? It should be default color, because I haven't changed it. Default color. What if I went in here and I said car 2.color equals green? So what am I going to get for car 1 color? What am I getting for car 1 color? Red. How about car 2 color? Green. I should get red and green. I did. What if I did this, though? What if I said car 2's color is equal to car 1.color? Could I do that? Could I say that car 2's color is equal to car 1's color? And what am I going to get printed out now? Red, red. Okay? So y'all see how that's working? I can have as many cars as I want. Because when I said this statement right here, I said, declare me a new car. Call it car 1. So it went into my memory and created a new location in memory. And said, you know what? That is car 1. Let's actually print out, print car 1, print car 2. What should I get on the screen? What should I get? I should get the memory locations. And since they're different objects, there should be different locations in memory. Do you agree? Let's find out. There you go. They're different locations in memory. Now, if you look at these, they're actually close to each other, but they're not, identical. This is the hexadecimal value of car 1's location. This is the hexadecimal value of car 2's location. You can see they are different objects stored at different locations in memory. So far, so good?
Can you scroll that way for a second? Just for a second to the right. I want to see what you have on print.
Oh.
Prior to paint job.
Where?
You got over on that looking at. I see what
Okay. So we all understanding how this is working? Yes, no, maybe? Okay. What would happen, though, inside a car, I did this. Could I do that? Sure I could. I could. And let me explain what just happened. So inside of car right here, I defined a new variable called color. Okay? So, but I already have color defined up here in vehicle. So since I redefined color down here in car, we can no longer access the one from vehicle. Okay? Because we kind of overwrote it. It's called overriding, I think. I'm not 100% positive. I'm getting my names mixed up today. So what we did was we said the car class, which inherits vehicle, has number of doors and also color. Color is also defined in vehicle, so we're actually overriding it. Okay? You don't need to do that. I'm just saying you could. Okay? You could do that. All right? So I'm actually going to take that out since we don't need to do it. I was just showing you that you can. Okay?
You don't need it.
You don't need it. But you could do it. All right. So far, so good on the car thing here. Now, in car, I said sunroof. It needs a variable called sunroof. So let's go into my car right here. We'll give it a sunroof. All right, I got an error. What is it? Anybody know? Darn it, you guys are too quick on that. How did you know that needs a capital T? Because what?
Messing up so many damn times. I know it's a capital.
Okay.
Capital F.
See, it's a lowercase t and it didn't change color. The moment I put a capital case T, you'll notice it changes to true. That's making it a Boolean variable. Okay? Everybody see that? All right. Now, mileage. Let's give it some mileage here. See, what kind of car is this? Is it a good car? We'll give it low. We'll give it a 10 miles per gallon. This is probably something Cameron drives. Oh, no, Cameron drove it to get about 8. There, that's Cameron's car. But the good thing is, his car runs on freedom. Every now and then he drives his dad's Hummer to school. All right.
Cameron don't take that from him, all right?
All right, so far so good. Everybody see how this is working? Now, could we create another type? Could we create a truck and a motorcycle?
Sure.
Yes, we could.
Just do the same.
But that's too much work. We're not doing that today because we're going to run out of time. But I got a question for you. So we have a vehicle. Yes, Mitchell.
Well, based on the diagram you have up there, shouldn't car be a subset of vehicle instead of...
It is a subset.
Instead of car?
Car is a subset of vehicle. Car is inheriting from vehicle.
So you use the vehicle for the truck.
Truck inherits from vehicle. Motorcycle inherits from vehicle. Everybody in here is inheriting from vehicle. That's why I was able to mess with the color of the car, even though color wasn't defined in it. I could actually print out registration number. Here, let's give the default registration number as 55555, just so we know it's there. Okay. So if I was to print out
Wouldn't that be the same with the car too also?
I could do it for both. So what should I get right there?
You should get 5555.
Should get 55555, and I did. Because I asked for car 1's registration number is not defined inside of car, but car inherits from vehicle, so we actually reference this registration number over here.
And so can you just not put car instead of 1 and 2, and it would reference that number?
No. What you're saying is, could I just do this?
Just get rid of 1 and put...
Nope, can't do it.
You need to define car 1.
And even if I did this, it wouldn't work. Even if I did capital C, it wouldn't work. I'll be damned it did.
I get extra points.
No, that's not right.
Well, it just
But
worked.
hold on. Wait, but what if we do this? Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, we're messing with the devil now.
You are.
So is it going to work?
Devil doesn't like orange. Yeah.
See? That's still not referencing the instances of our car.
But how do you know that you're referencing car 2 instead of car 1 or car 1 versus car 2?
Well, because you put in the name at the beginning. Okay? Let me put car 2 in here.
Specify which car.
Right, here's car 2. So, car 1 is 666, car 2 is 777. Okay, so that 555 is neither one of them. It's the car object itself. It's not referencing a particular instance of it.
From the class.
It's like in Java, you can access a class variable or an instance variable. This way here, where's my darn mouse? This way is actually referencing the class variable. It's just you can't do that in all languages. It doesn't always work. I'm surprised it actually worked here. Okay, so far so good. What we got? Mitchell, did that kind of explain it for you? Let me move this up a little in case you want to see what I typed here. That help? Can you see it better now? Yeah, we really don't need this last statement. So you just can't do that in all languages. That would really kind of not expecting it to work. Now, could we? Here's going to be a tough question for you. You all see that car inherits from vehicle. Could we make another class like sports car or passenger car that inherits from car? Yes, we could. Let's do that. It's not on our diagram, but I could say class sport car. Ah,
You want to reference car and vehicle or
just
just car?
car. Max speed equals 100. That's my car. It's governed at 101, I think, actually. So what this is doing is we know car inherits from vehicle. Now sport inherits from car. See if it actually works. I forgot my colon yet again. All right. So it worked fine. So could I reference, so now down here, I'm going to delete some of these other cars. Is that okay with you, Gal? We got way too many of them going down here. I'm going to delete these up here too. We don't need all that stuff. What if I said sport 1 equals sport? Could I do that? And could I print out sport1.color? That's the question. Could I do that? Right. What's happening is I created a new instance called sport1, which is an instance of sport. Sport inherits from car. Car inherits from vehicle. So sport1's color doesn't come from sport or car. It's actually coming from way up at the top of vehicle. So what should I get? I should get default color unless I screwed this one up. Yes, it worked like a champ. Ta-da! One thing actually worked perfectly. Could I create a passenger car? Could I do that?
Yeah.
Then I could say passenger 1 equals passenger, spelled correctly. It's parenthesis. So what's that one going to print then? Should be the same. Should be default color. So what I did was, if you took this diagram, it's like putting in another, triangle coming off of car with sport on one side and passenger on the other. The reason is your program is going to have you do that. You're going to inherit. Yes, go ahead, Mitchell.
Does the sequence of creating the classes make a difference? I mean, if you take classes with passenger and sport before you create a class?
That's a good question. So you're saying put this stuff up here.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know that answer. That's really a good question. Let's see what it does. Yep, it has to be defined first. The reason is this is an interpreter. I wasn't sure how exactly it worked, but it has to be.
Sense, though, 'cause
Yeah,
it's like, oh, how am I going to get the son
Right.
before I get the father?
Right. So it makes perfect sense. And since it's not being compiled, it's actually going line by line. Okay. Now it's fixed. Okay. So far, so good?
Scroll up.
Scroll up. I didn't change anything up there.
No, I'm sorry. I'm looking down so I can see
Oh.
what you got past it.
Oh, that's all I got.
Okay, so you got
I deleted all the rest.
print past it.
Okay. I was just getting too much stuff down there. So everybody see how car inherited vehicle, sport inherited car, and passenger inherited car. We could also make truck did inherited vehicle and motorcycle inherited vehicle. We could go on forever. Okay. So wasn't this better than just typing the crap in out of the book? I feel this would be better, at least for what you're going to need to do in the program.
This kind of helps us on our homework.
What?
This helps with our homework.
Yes, it does. Your homework is not going to be vehicles and cars, but it'll be along the same lines. I'm going to give you a UML diagram, and you're going to have to. You saw how I took this diagram right here, and this stuff, and put it in here. We're not done with it, but you saw how I converted it. So, all right. I think that's about as far as we're going to go with this today. I don't feel like creating all the other classes. So I showed you how car inherited vehicle, sport inherited car, so did passenger, and we could continue on. We could do, under sport, we could have European. So European inherited sport, which inherited car, which inherited vehicle, which inherited all the way up to amoeba or something, you know. Yes, we could do that. All right. So no questions? Everybody kind of happy with this? Okay. Would it help if I was to put my example up on the website?
Yes.
Yeah, but I mean,
I mean, you all should have it. But I'm going to put it up there. I'm going to stop this recording and I'm going to put this up there for y'all.